So let's do it. Deadeye Dan then. All right. So I think, well, Josiah, do you want to give this guy a read?
Yeah. I'm going to be Deadeye Dan.
Yeah.
Let me pull him back up here real fast.
Go ahead and do it. Do it. Deadeye Dan.
I'm just reading the card. All right, so we have Deadeye Dan right here. He's a human, unique hero. He's a sniper, precise, and he's a medium 5. He's got an excellent poncho, so Cal Kestis approves. He has Ular, enhanced rifle special attack with his range 10, attack 1, where you choose a non-adjacent small or medium figure to attack. The chosen figure cannot roll defense dice when attacked by Deadeye Dan's Ular enhanced rifle special attack. Deadeye Dan may not use this special attack if you move this turn. And we have sharpshooter. Instead of attacking, you may choose any non-adjacent figure within 10 clear sight spaces of Deadeye Dan. Roll the 20-sided die. If you roll a 19 or 20, the chosen figure is destroyed. If you roll a 1 to 18, you missed. Deadeye Dan may not use this special power if you move this turn. He's got 3 life, 5 move, 10 spaces, which is the most, I think, in the game. Attack 1 and defense 2.
Yeah, he's a human, unique hero, sniper, precise, medium 5 too. All right, and let's see here. When it comes to bonding, Aklara. Okay, and so I think there's some C3 stuff there too. Okay, but no, not much. Okay, so we're just okay. We're going back to if it were seriously, if he ended up bonding, oh my gosh. Anyway, all right, and it's like Arabelle saying Dan is like the scariest unit that never does anything. All right, so Mike, what do you think?
I mean, he's 60 points. He's a single attack per turn. Your option is 1 die or 1 die, right? And then, your other option is to try to roll a 19 or 20. He's very high variance. Theoretically can do something. Both of his special attacks have a really bad stipulation where he can't have moved that turn.
Right.
They also both, so like his rifle, he can't use it if he's engaged because he can't attack an adjacent figure with it. So like if a squad figure gets adjacent to him, well, he's either got to disengage, but then he moved, so he can't use it, or he just stands there and uses his normal attack, which is what he has to do, which is 1 die. The other ability, he's allowed to target a non-adjacent figure even if he's engaged because it's a special ability. So you can't time up with a squad to deny it, and it is 10 threat range, which is pretty scary. Impressive. But again, he can't have moved. It's just, and then still you need a 19 or 20. I like the abilities a lot more where it's scaled to like if it's a squad versus hero, so it's like a Chomp or something like Braxis's Poison Breath. But even Sudama, who is scaled, sees no play, in part because she's too expensive at 140. But any hero that's only killing 1 figure a turn max, it's just hard to justify them. I think he's really good or can be good in, like, scenario play, right? Or, like, you got him on a castle, he's able to shoot people way before anybody else can shoot him back. Or he can also snipe people safely. If he's in the attacking army, I mean, he sort of can just break scenarios with the 10 range. Like, if you've got a castle scenario, it's not really built for Deadeye Dan to just start shooting from 10 range because the opponent can, depending on what the victory condition is or whatever, if there's no round limit on it, then he basically can just solo. And they have nothing they can do about it. So he's pretty interesting in, I would say, other styles of play, but he's pretty, for lack of a better term, worthless and competitive.
Yeah, it's...
and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with some figures being for scenarios and for other styles of play. So
yeah, well, you consider it maybe a mop-up miniature, probably not the best mop-up miniature out there. Because
I think it's probably towards the end of the game at least. Hopefully there's a little less attack disparity, but I mean, if you're talking like him versus any squad, right, they're getting multiple attacks per turn, he's getting 1. He's got 2 defense and 3 life also, which is extremely squishy. And so,
I mean, I know one thing that I've learned over time too is you should never ever count on that 20-sided die roll. Never count it. That is a variable that you just never know what's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And see,
Despite all that,
go ahead.
everyone has a Deadeye Dan story.
Yes, that's-
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. It's like because Deadeye Dan is so unexpected. Like you really can't plan. There's no. I personally don't think you can like set up some sort of strategy to be like, all right, I'm effectively going to use sharpshooter or something. Like that's just not how that works, right? It's more of those. I'll
Use your Hail
give it a
Mary.
try. You know,
Use your Hail
yeah,
Mary
right. It's like
card.
we'll see what happens, right? I'm gonna just toss this out and be like, let's see what happens, and then you're like, you know, because then it works, and you're like, you know, and it's insane because again, for me, if you know my story with sharpshooter, it was my first time I ever got to play Nilfheim for the first. Like I had just got those characters and I was like testing them out and I was having a good time. I was like, oh my god, why ice breathing dragon? And then my friend was playing Deadeye Dan, rolled sharpshooter, rolled a 20. Nilfheim didn't get to do anything. Was dead, all 8 life off the bill. I was just like you remember when Patrick was playing against Chris with the Maladrix, and then like one of those heroes killed his bear, and then it was just like 8 life gone like that. That was exactly what I went through. I was just watching the dragon get taken off the map and didn't do anything with it. And I was like, yeah, and it's just that's how Deadeye Dan worked. It's just good luck, and if you have it, oh man.
And catching up with the chat here, it's here. Derek says, in my Common Clash video with Deadeye Dan, he took only 1 shot at Deathwalker 7000, rolled a 20, game-winning roll. Teamski saying...
you can't plan it, but it's crazy when it happens.
Teamski is saying, now this is a figure worth 60 points. A potential insta-kill with 10 range disengage. A very good start line figure. Interesting. Hexal says, give him stealth line and 8 movement, and Deadeye Dan would be great. Actually, you know what I think would make Deadeye Dan better? If he had a lower point value. You know, if he was like, I think 60 points is a bit high for like I said, mop up miniature. If he were like 25 points and maybe with just something devalued in some way, like in the stat card, or 25 points devalued, but still with that. I don't know if like the special ability have to be devalued, but if he was like a lower points, then I think you would see him in more armies, because you're like, oh yeah, worth 25 points of potential, you know, insta kill for that. But 60 is a stretch. It is a little bit of a stretch for that. But no, I get what Teamski is saying there when it comes to that.
I recently did a online tournament with that Rye guy who was hosting it, and you pretty much got to change any of the left stats for Deadeye Dan to make him your Destroyer Dan inside your army. So that was a really fun event because you got to really kind of see how you could break the game and make Deadeye Dan viable. I saw, you know, he was Human Gladiators, he was Primadon, Devours. There was a lot of fun things on play. I ran him as a Thrall, so Nicholas Eisenwine could keep on bringing him back. That's the really only time I've seen him used, but that's why I have those Deadeye Dan trophies, because I was doing prize support for the tournament. But I love Deadeye Dan. You know, I played a lot of Melee Smash Bros, and that's the Pichu pick. You need some kind of character that you can kind of just meme on your opponents with. That, you know, it's not the most finely tuned, but it's fun to play.
This is the beauty of Heroscape. It's half meant to be just having a fun time with it, and I think personally, everybody should get all the classic cowboys, just for the pure fun of it. You should be getting yourself some cowboys, because they just wouldn't make the game so fun.
Pure. I want to say, if I was ever to like distill the essence of Heroscape into like you know, this is Heroscape experience, like the lawmen are just one of those things. You're just like, what, cowboys? And they're like, yeah, cowboys, and they're great. You know, it's just like the idea of the lawman in Heroscape is, it's in terms of like most of anything I played, like I feel like Heroscape, when I think Heroscape, I'm like the lawman, you know, just get that list of all of them, and then how we were unlocking. We were getting to the point where we were going to try to get one for each general and stuff like that. Yeah, it was really cool. Very Heroscape thing.
Now,
I'd like to see
ahead,
a
Mike.
2.0 of. I was just gonna say I'd like to see a 2.0 of Deadeye Dan. I think he's primed for one because the theme is really cool to have the, you know, the sniper, the sharpshooter, but just, you know, you either gotta figure it out, right? Like again, that stipulation not being able to move is just rough. The stats are rough. I mean, he's just primed for a 2.0 treatment.
Put him on a Velociraptor. He'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Now,
Oh man, that'd be intense.
now, before we wrap this, let's read a little bit of the lore behind Deadeye Dan. Character bio says Dan Maverick. I like it. It has that in it last name. Was
That's his last name.
a physician in the lonely town of, is that Lead or Lead?
I imagine it's lead.
Okay, Lead
But
in the South Dakota.
see, that's an
territory.
actual place.
Yeah.
I feel like they pulled that off the map. Let me see.
Mhm.
Lead. Sorry, I'm like derailing you. Can you read? I'm looking it up. But yeah, it is a city in South Dakota.
Okay. Well read and educated in Chicago, Dan had ventured west in search of wide open spaces and a piece of land to call his own. On the prairie, he discovered his love of hunting and became an expert marksman with his .50 90. And I'm sorry, I'm at this point I'm not much of a gun aficionado. Sharpshooter buffalo rifle. Dan always brought down the big game, often making his shots from well over 300 yards. Dan's quiet little life changed on one day when he went to make a deposit at the lead bank and found it being robbed by bandits. Now, where's our bandit squads, Renegade? Bandit squads, come on.
Desperados.
Dan quickly fled the bank
Mhm.
and set up a sniper position across the street. He took down 3 of the bandits. The 20, those D20 rolls must have been great. 3 of the bandits before he was taken from behind. Just as Deadeye Dan was about to lead by the way of the gun, General Uller intervened and brought him to Valhalla as a sharpshooter to strike at his enemies from afar. There you go. Anything else to say
Real
about this,
quick.
Jeremy? About
Real
his,
quick, I looked it up. There's a website. I don't know how I've just found this, but it's here. It's the broadcast pronunciation guide in South Dakota pronunciations.
Mhm.
According to the Associated Press in 2011, it's Lee.
It is Lee. Okay.
There's a whole website of all the cities of South Dakota how to say
Okay.
them, and I'm like,
everything
this is
everything we said
fascinating.
about Lead. Okay, I actually
Yeah.
prefer Lead
So you
better.
got-
I think that fits his character a lot better. So.
Also, it's a population of 2,000, very small town,
Mm.
and that was back in 2020. So
I wouldn't have it any other way.
still pretty-
So
right.
actually, I might move
So
there.
if anyone's near South Dakota,
I love
you want to take your Deadeye Dan, take a picture of him, and be like, "Hey,
I love
we're
my
home again."
isolated rural towns. You know, so, yeah.
several hundred years later. But just lore wise, I mean, he's one of the humans of Earth, right? Like
Mhm.
these
Historical
ideas
figures.
that were presented, historical figures. This is why it's a very passionate discussion in the Heroscape community. And I feel like if once they get the chance to get back into historical characters, starting off with a lawman or using a lawman at some point is a really great. Like, I mean, the Pioneer West, right? I mean, there's so much opportunity in that alone. That I mean, and very not how do I say it in a calmer way, less situational to be aware of, because it's like, I mean, you have the people who occupied those small towns, and when they were moving into further into like Midwest territories and stuff like that, and you can use that so many different scenarios in those situations. And I think other than that, like I have to say, one funny thing is I know we do have fandom, I guess, assignments to the generals. Like we say, Aquila's the nature general, and we say that, was it the Vidar's the robot general and stuff like that. And I know Ular always got to sound like nature, magic, stuff like that. I just want to point out, this is an Ular enhanced rifle. So at some point, Ular learned how to work with human-made rifles and then made it better. And I'm just like, can we get a little bit more information on that? I just really curious the story of Ular's gunsmithing. Like just when he first finds out how that worked and then somehow makes it better, I want to figure that out. Like, 'cause that's super. Like, did he make it or did someone else can't make it? Is it, like, what do you mean by Ular enhanced rifle? What did he do? Like, that would just be really neat to see that like adaptation onto Earth technology. They're just like, oh hey, we can make this better, boop, boop. And then you're just like, whoa, like yeah.
We need to know. Yeah.
Yeah, it interests me. Like even though Ular is seen as this nature general, always summoning elves, always summoning magic, he somehow enhanced a rifle. So it's the Valkyrie, to me at least, have never been able. You can't really lock them down in themes because they always get that random Tsudima. It's just what I guess sure And I always thought that was cool about him. His little reference to that, and just small town in South Dakota, tried to self-defend it, and got picked up before the it now shoots lasers.
Now shoots lasers. Exactly.
I mean,
Justin.
if you watch the webisodes, they all had lasers. Like every single one of those guns had lasers. So I'm like, you know what? It could work. It could be just that. All photon based.
Absolutely. And see, and before we close this, Derek is saying, it's pronounced weed. I lived in South Dakota for years, and they have specific pronounced cities. The capital, which is spelled Pierre, which you would think would be Pierre, is not. Yeah, it's pronounced Peer, Peer. So it's interesting. All right.
Yeah, there's a website that tells you how to pronounce South Dakota names. I think that's funny that I found a website specifically for that.
And so go ahead, Jeremy.
Broadcast guide.
What?
Oh, that makes sense now. They made it so people who report news for South Dakota know how to say the sentence.
I see.
Okay, now we got it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I was like.
No, you're fine, Jerry. No, but okay. So as closing this out again, I would strongly recommend, if you're just starting a Heroscape collection, find a way to get all the cowboys, all the lawmen, because might not be great for tournaments, although you still might want to throw them in sometimes, but they are definitely tons of fun. So here is looking at Deadeye Dan for your consideration for Heroscape.